At the funeral, her mother-in-law stood up in front of everybody and yelled at her. And now she is reaching out saying, I don't know where to go from here. I want my husband to have a good relationship with his mom. I want our daughter to have a good relationship with her grandma. But as far as I go, I don't know. Like, this was so disrespectful. So, a little backstory. She's been with her husband for 14 years, but right from the start, her mother-in-law, she let her know that I'm a proud boy mom, I'm enmeshed with my son, and I'm not going anywhere. And she hasn't. She has stayed wedged between them for the entire relationship. So 14 years. In the beginning, it was just comments like, you're stealing my baby. He loves you more. Why are you doing this to me? And then it just escalated to passive aggressive comments, a little bit more cutting comments. And then it leveled up to spreading lies behind the daughter-in-law's back to family members. And that's when she was like, this is weird. So she goes to her husband and she's like, you should talk to your mom. Like, she's saying stuff about me. And instead of him having her back, he had his mom's back. He's like, my mom wouldn't do that. And besides, I don't like conflict. If you have a problem with my mom, you have to talk to her yourself. She was a little taken back, but she's like, well, he's kind of right. It is my problem. So she goes to her mother-in-law, tries to have a very adult conversation. She freaks out, blames it all on her. It just got all spun up. It was kind of wild. And after the conversation, the behaviors got worse. And this happened for the next couple years. Whenever the daughter-in-law would bring something up, the mother-in-law would blame it all on her, and then her behaviors would get worse. So she learned pretty quickly, okay, I'm not going to bring anything up anymore because it gets worse for me afterwards. A few years after that, the couple ends up moving states away. And the good news? The distance ends up really helping. In fact, she thinks the behaviors that her mother-in-law was doing actually went away until they have to go back for this funeral. That's when they find out that the mother-in-law was telling family that her daughter-in-law has a vendetta against her, that she's going to attack her, that she's stealing her son away from her. Just big lies. So she goes to her husband and she's like, please talk to your mom. Like, this is not okay. He finally agrees. They have a conversation, the three of them, over the phone. Again, it goes horribly wrong. She denies, deflects, blame shifts. It's all the daughter-in-law's fault. Okay. So they go back to the funeral, and that's where in front of everybody, she stands up, yells at her daughter-in-law. So she's feeling helpless, doesn't know where to go. If this were happening to me, and it seems like my husband is still partnering with his mom more than partnering with me, I would invite my husband into therapy. Not because he's broken, but because I believe he deserves to hear from a professional that he has permission to untether from his mom. He's not responsible for her happiness, not responsible for her feelings, and he can fully attach to me. I would have a professional, a licensed therapist, help set up healthy boundaries, help teach us coping mechanisms to deal with that boundary backlash. And then once I feel fully supported and protected by my husband, that's when I would reassess what my relationship could look like with my mother-in-law. Those are my thoughts. What would you do?